Hi, hello everyone. I'm Justin. This is Koopa. Welcome to Koopa's Corner. Today we're going to talk about WWE Bash in Berlin. The event was yesterday, and what an event it was. This might have been the best premium live event in 2024. There were only 5 matches on the card. Each match had plenty of time to tell their stories, to showcase their performers, and boy, did it pay off. Arguably, this was even better than WrestleMania. So let's break it down, talk about what's next for some of the top performers in the WWE. Starting off, the first match of the night was Cody Rhodes versus Kevin Owens for the WWE Championship, and they started off strong. Both of these performers can go, and they told a hell of a story throughout. Now, I'm not sure if WWE intended this to be a story for just this match or for something long term, but they may have stumbled into potentially one of the best stories that they've told since WrestleMania, coming out of this match with Kevin Owens and his refusal to find that ruthless side of himself in order to do what is necessary to win. He wanted a fair match. He didn't want to take advantage of his friend, and it cost him. Now, the in-ring action can speak for itself. Go back, check it out, watch it. It was awesome. But this story with Kevin Owens has a lot of potential. And this feels like a long-term story. So I hope that the WWE takes advantage of it. Cody Rhodes and Kevin Owens, it feels like they should face each other again. However, Michael Cole alluded to Solo Sikoa getting the next championship match. So we'll see where that goes. I don't think it's that big of a deal if Cody faces Solo next, as Orton suffers loss after loss on SmackDown in the coming weeks before he finally snaps, finds that more aggressive side of himself, and circles back to Cody then, ready to take the title from him. You know, we all know that Solo won't win at Bad Blood if that's the match that happens, because Roman Reigns won't allow that to happen. So, going forward, he could face Kevin Owens again. He could face Solo Sikoa. But either way, Cody Rhodes is going to have his handful. And both of those stories have a lot of potential, so it's going to be interesting to see how they play out and how they intertwine with each other. The next match of the night was the Women's Tag Team Championship match. And they did a pretty solid job. It wasn't the best match of the night, but all 4 performers looked great. Alba Fire and Isla Dawn had incredible chemistry, and they showcased a lot of their ability to double team. They just lack the star power necessary for this to have really been something worth investing in. It was fun, it was solid, but everybody knows that the stars in this match were Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill. And even the two of them don't feel like nearly as big of a deal as they should, given the talent involved. I mentioned this a little bit in my predictions video, but it's pretty hard for me to see how far they've fallen. Luckily, I don't think it's going to be too difficult to heat them back up and to really showcase them as the stars that they are, but that is not going to come for a few months. That's not going to come until they finally turn on each other and feud with each other, and that is likely going to blow off at WrestleMania, so we probably won't see the start of that until the Royal Rumble. Coming out of WrestleMania next year, though, hopefully one, if not both of them, can find themselves much higher up on the card, feuding with more than just each other, and possibly coming for some gold if, in singles competition, the Women's Championship or the Women's World Championship, depending on which brands they find themselves on. But yeah, this was a decent match. It was a decent showcase. It was there. If you're watching anyway, it's worth watching. If you have to go back and you're trying to watch highlights, you maybe can skip this one, but we have new champions, Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill, so I expect them to spin their wheels for some time. Now, the third match of the night, the strap match between CM Punk and Drew McIntyre. This was every bit as brutal as we were hoping it would be. Drew McIntyre did a hell of a job selling each and every one of those GTSs that he took, and he took like 4 or 5 of them right at the end of the match. CM Punk got his victory. He got his revenge. He got his bracelet back. This match was slowed down a little bit by the four corners gimmick. I think a strap match would be a lot better if it was pinfall or submission, but it was brutal, and it was every bit as brutal as we hoped. Post-event, CM Punk was talking about maybe challenging Gunther for the title, so we'll see going forward if they go straight into Bad Blood to do a Drew McIntyre versus CM Punk in a Hell in a Cell match, which is what a lot of people are expecting, but they may take their time giving us the third chapter in this feud, and that's okay. They've been telling this story all year long. It's been great. It's not slowing down anytime soon. And by holding off on this rubber match, I think is just fine if that's what they choose to do. CM Punk and Gunther can have a great match. The two of them, it would be a lot of fun. And then Drew McIntyre can show up at the end, cost CM Punk the title the way CM Punk has been costing him the title most of the year. And they can set up that rubber match for Survivor Series or for the Royal Rumble. And it will be just as good there, even if it's not in Hell in a Cell. So either way, whether they do it right away and give us that Hell in a Cell match or they hold off on it, expect these two superstars to face each other again and expect them to up the intensity once more. And I think that'll be, it's going to be a hell of a match when it happens. Now, the next match was perhaps the biggest surprise of the night. It was the mixed tag team match between the Terror Twins, Rhea Ripley and Damian Priest, versus the Judgment Days, Liv Morgan and Daddy Dom. I expected Liv and Dom to win. It felt like, from a storytelling perspective, that was the more logical choice. But it's clear coming out of this event who WWE sees as their top stars. This was all about showcasing Rhea and, to a lesser extent, Damian Priest, but really Rhea Ripley came out of this looking as much of a star as she ever has. And that's saying something, because she has been one of the top stars, not just in the women's division, but in the entire WWE for some time now. Coming out of this, the Judgment Day sort of looked like chumps. I mean, JD McDonough and Carlito came out, caused a distraction. Liv Morgan took out Rhea Ripley with a sunset flip into the barricade in a hell of a spot, by the way. That was kind of awesome. And then while that was going on, Finn Balor snuck in, hit the sling blade on Damian Priest. Dom followed it up with a 619 and a frog splash. It was one of the best false finishes that I've ever seen. I legitimately bought into that. I thought that was going to be the end of it. I thought that made sense from a logical story point. And that's not what happened. Priest got his shoulder up, and the match continued. And not only did it continue, but Rhea and Damian made short work of the Judgment Day. They had a really cool spot where they did a double Razor's Edge. Rhea Ripley finally got her hands on Dom, so that was awesome. The crowd went nuts for that. And I really hope that the WWE gives us that one-on-one singles match between Dirty Dom and Rhea Ripley. And I know they don't do intergender matches much, but I really think that they've got money in this match if they choose to give us this match. It's the only logical direction that this can go. She needs to put Dom away before focusing on Liv and the championship. So I think if she can put Dom away, let's say Survivor Series, she can enter the Rumble, she can win the Rumble, finally get her hands on Liv at WrestleMania and reclaim her title at WrestleMania. And I think that's the most logical way this story can go from here. But either way, this event really just showcased Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley, and their momentum isn't slowing down anytime soon. Even if the Judgment Day comes out of this feud looking like a bunch of chumps, it's all about making a statement with Rhea Ripley and with Damian Priest. Now, the final match of the night was Randy Orton versus Gunther for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. And this was another solid match that they had a lot of time. They really showed how hard-hitting they were. This didn't have the brutality that the strap match had, but this was hard-hitting. And it was a statement match from Gunther that he belongs in the main event. He belongs at the top of the card. But it was also a statement match from Randy Orton, reminding everybody that he is a legend, that he is one of the best to ever do it. With all the talks recently of John Cena hanging up his boots, Randy Orton has come up in the conversation. He's getting up there as well. He debuted the same year that John Cena did, and this was Randy Orton's way of saying, hell no, I'm not going to retire anytime soon. I can go with the best of them. And he's not wrong, man. He really just was shining brightly coming out of this match, even in defeat. So what's next for the two of them? That's a great question. I think Gunther is likely to face CM Punk at some point, whether it's, again, at Bad Blood or a little bit later on. I think it almost makes more sense to do it at Bad Blood and hold off on that Hell in a Cell match between Punk and McIntyre. But if not, I'm sure they'll find a way to crown a new number one contender for his title. Possibly Sami Zayn, now that he doesn't have the Intercontinental Championship anymore. And he did beat Gunther at WrestleMania. He has a pretty legitimate claim to face him again for a higher prize. So that's another option as well if they do go with the CM Punk versus McIntyre at Bad Blood instead of holding off on that. As for Randy Orton, I mean, he's on Raw now. But is he? Is he going back to SmackDown? It's kind of unclear what direction lies ahead for him, but I think ultimately the feud that makes the most sense for Randy is a feud with Cody, and I don't know if that's going to come sooner or later. I personally think it should come a little bit later. That seems like the feud to carry those two superstars into WrestleMania with the history they have with the legacy there. And it gives there some time to take the title off of Cody first, and you can have it involved in the Bloodline storyline there. And you don't need the title to have Cody versus Orton. So that's another possibility going forward for them. But either way, guys, I had a hell of a time watching this event. Again, I think it was one of the best, if not the best, premium live event in 2024 for the WWE. Let me know in the comments what match you guys like the most, where you think the stories are going. If I had it right, if I had it wrong, let me know what you think. And, well, thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one.